happening? Welcome to this reading. So if you're not watching football, but I do have my football shirt on. So happens, to be one of those football days. Anyway, I wanted to do a read real quick. So let's see what the Cosmic Insights deck has to say. Okay, let's see what we have today. It's so fun. I was just thinking about something else related to this graphic kind of and paint job here. Design anyway. And you know what? This kind of has similar color. Look at that. Those colors are similar, aren't they? So a kaleidoscope might be significant for somebody. Oh, wow. Look at that. Commitment. It says things are getting serious. So there might be somebody who wants to commit to you. Okay. Yeah, and you might be, okay, in the middle of a cycle and you're like, commit to what exactly? Right? They're saying here things are getting serious. All right. Health issues could arise. Yeah, if you don't take care of yourself, right? That's kind of why they, so this says confession here. So maybe this is a confession about somebody's health, what's going on with their health. Maybe before they want to commit to you, they want you to know a situation with their health, something like that. Intuition. Okay. The red flags you ignore now will come back to bite later. So don't ignore your intuition, especially somebody that wants to kind of pull the wool over your eyes, with this kind of stuff. Okay. So somebody wants to commit. There could be some health issues involved. Maybe you have some health issues where you're like, do you really want to commit because blah, blah, blah. Anyway, only you know the answer to that, right? You have to use your intuition here in this situation. And if this is something where somebody cannot assist you, it's like, okay. Fire sign. You could be a fire sign in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay. All right. You also might have some air in your chart as well. I'm going to go ahead and get into this other deck. So what's the vibe deck? I kind of like this one as well. You guys, I did a recipe tonight and it didn't really turn out the way part of the problem is I didn't really follow the recipe, but I thought, oh, maybe it'll turn out, but I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it, Anyway. Sometimes it happens, right? And then it's like, oh, well, maybe if I did follow the recipe, then this will. But, I'm one of those people, I just dive right in, you know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes you need to read through it first and then be like, oh, okay, yeah. So, with this commitment and things getting serious, whatever that is that you're committing to, yeah, you might want to read through the fine print first before signing anything. Stagnant, stuck, dead end, frozen. Okay. So, for some of you, collector, you could be like, yeah, I don't want to be in a commitment because that makes you stuck to that one person, whatever. So, this could be a surprise for somebody. All right. Okay. Or you're afraid it's going to make you stagnant. It could also be coming out of a stagnancy where you weren't committed to anything. All right. So take that energy how it fits your personal situation. Okay. energy has, it's a yin and a yang, right? Okay, so, if it's not your reading today, it's just not your reading. Be glad, right? Oh, distance. Okay. Divorce goes to separation. So you could be at a distance to this person that wants to give you a message about their health. Okay. Ooh, karmics, third parties, haters, lesson learned. So, yeah, if this person wants to hang around a bunch of karmic people, then you might end up being around these karmic people. Okay, so it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, use your intuition, and it's like, that's when sometimes people be like, okay, well, who's going to be there? Right? And it's like, oh, well, okay, yeah, I'll try and make it. And if it's something where you've already learned your lesson, then it's like, why do you want to return back to that? Right? Okay. See here. So I was getting kind of the breakup energy earlier. So, on this side of commitment, somebody might be, breaking out of one, but the first energy I got was somebody being excited about like a new commitment. Okay, so that was the primary energy, just FYI for whoever's tuning into this reading. Apology, arrogant, rash actions, insincere. So it has this cat here on this card saying like, oh, I'm ready to apologize, right? But how our pets are. It's like, yeah, feed me. I can feed right now. You know what I mean? Type thing. So this person could be a fire sign as well. So that could explain some of the rash actions. Some of the negative aspects of like some of the fire signs. Insincerity. Arrogance could be one. It could be for any sign really, but it seems like this person, either owes you an apology or wants to give you an apology. Whether or not they're going to is another thing. See, this says harmony. So I am tending to believe that they want to do this because they do want to balance that out. Okay, with whoever is out there in the collective, especially if they were, hoping on getting this commitment for you. This was the very first card of the reading, by the way. Okay, so let that visualize you what you... All right, so if your love life has been stagnant, maybe that's the message you need, that maybe things are getting more serious for you. Maybe you don't want to date people that are just like in and out of your life, or always at, such and such a club every, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, blah, blah, and they don't even work there, and you're like, really? You know what I mean? Stuff, stuff like that. Not to say anybody can't have fun, right? Okay. Since this is kind of a love reading, I guess we'll do the romance angels as well. We're kind of flying through here. I was also getting the song Manic Monday the other day for anybody. I was gonna, and I've played this before on my guitar, but the way I was practicing it, it wasn't really making sense on my guitar that I was using while I was singing. So I needed some more practice on that. This says pay attention to the red flag. So again, this red flag thing. So here's the thing. Signs are cautioning you. There could be somebody who comes along and is like, hey, I really want to be committed to you, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, great. Oh, there's the ring. Oh, this is awesome. Right? But then, like, they never had changed their behavior. And they just go back to being, like, doing whatever they were doing before. Um, you know, and there's women that cheat too. So, you know what I'm saying? Where they think such and such doesn't count. You know what I mean? So, if that is a red flag that hasn't been remedied in any way, you might want to think about that before letting these things get serious. Okay, yeah, true love. Um this says this is the romance of a lifetime. Okay. So where it says here health issues. Okay, so if you were having health issues because somebody was throwing all these red flags at you, then that is not the person for you. Right? True love is when somebody actually supports your growth, supports your, you know what I mean, balance in life, I shall say. Okay? All right. So again, you could be currently at a distance from this person, whoever this true love is. Okay? That doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be together. A lot of times people have jobs that take them different places and where somebody else is not. Right? So, you know, that doesn't mean that they're not working towards the same goal that you are, right? But only you know the depth of that relationship and the reality of that relationship, also, I will say. Okay? Because some people be like, oh, no matter what distance, blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe there's distance for a reason. You know, maybe that's because that's not the one and the other one's somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, you know, it's just facing the music, right? Okay. Let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. Okay. So, yeah, you cannot control these karmics. Okay. You can't be like, hey, karmic, don't go commit that crime. You think the karmic's going to listen to you? A lot of times, no. Okay. That's why it's like usually best to walk away out of those situations. And this is so weird. I was getting this movie the other day, which I love this movie. It's called A Bronx Tale, right? Um, and you know, there's a situation where he's like, his friends are like, "Hey, let's go." Well, same thing with that movie, Saturday Night Fever. Tony thinks he's going to do a good deed because somebody jumped a couple of his friends. So they go to the, you know, ops house, right? Their clubhouse, and they bust up their clubhouse, right? He finds out later they're not so sure that was the club or the dudes or the, you know? And he's like, I busted my face in for this shit. Okay. Where if he had stepped away and out of that situation, right, he wouldn't have been in that mess, right? So, you know, then he had to make a decision like, are you still going to listen to these bozos over here? Or are you going to think with the little noggin that was put there for your purpose, right? Okay, not these karmics who are just ready at the drop of the hat to do some karmic ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people have learned their lessons a long time ago and don't need karmics trying to enact karma. That's called like vigilanteism, but like even in a way worse way. You know what I mean? Because it's the vigilantes that think they're right no matter what, right? And it's like, well, does that always turn out well for history? What's that Garth Brooks song? Look at him back. The dance, right? Anyway. Yeah, so use your intuition. You know, like if you got something upcoming and there's a bunch of red flags about it and it's just like doesn't seem right for you, it's like, then don't do it. right? Let go of the need to control, or somebody saying that you have to be controlled by saying you have to be here and you have to be there and you have to do this for us. And it's like, but it's like, what if you allowed yourself to say no, right? And yes to something else, and then what happens? Oh my God, nothing bad happened. Oh my God, right? We all lived another day. Okay. So, haters gonna hate. Was that Taylor Swift song? A haters gonna hate, whatever. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. So there was this one person I dated, and they was constantly, oh, you must be flirting with so and so, or you must be doing this, you must be doing that, and it's like, you know what? After a certain time, I can't interject every time you have a little insecurity problem. Find something else to do with your time. Like, I'm literally at work right now. And you're texting me while I'm at work. Dude, find a hobby. It's like you want to be under somebody's thumb like that. So karmics will try and control you. If you let go of their presence in your life, right, then you're relinquishing any need for them to feel validated by, controlling the situation. And you're giving it up to the universe and God and, spirit and what, however holistic, view you want to, see in the universe. in our force fields we got here, you know what I mean? Which some of that is scientific as well, anyway. Not to get too nerdy about it, but isn't Newton a measurement of force? I'll have to look that up and put it in the comments. All right. New love. So this new love could be a fire sign. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Okay. So yeah, there could be somebody wanting to apologize, but in the meantime, you might have seen somebody new. This could be in your day-to-day. This could have been, through, a kind of like through your church or, however, where it's like, oh, there's more than who out there. You know what I mean? Okay, and how is this? Okay. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. Okay, so what it looks like here, a collective, is that, are you looking for a true love? Yes. May it come in the form of a new love? Yes. Right? People get really attached to familiarity when it comes to love. Okay. But you're allowed to explore your romantic feelings, okay, with a new person. Some people could be reluctant to do that because, oh my God, what if so-and-so sees me? Or what if their ex blah, blah, blah that works with, whose cousin and blah. Talk about keeping up with the Joneses on expectations of what? This is how, like, busybody some folks want to be. And at the same time, it's like, Don't we have like a whole generation of people like basically prostituting themselves right now? I mean, it's brought sex work into a whole different era of being, I guess. You know, some of it I just wonder. It's like some of the people are making these like astronomical sums of money. It's like, what are you even doing with this money then? After that, it's like after you make your mil, 2 mil, how many ever? It's like, don't you just, I'd be like, can I retire now? I don't know. Anyway, food for thought. It's like, um, is there, if somebody is looking to get serious and commit, it's like, are they more impressed with the imagery of the commitment, you know what I mean, than what stands behind the commitment? And that itself is a red flag that can materialize. So, if somebody's not satisfied with this now, are they going to be satisfied with that later? Right? So, and that could be why there's been some distance between you and that energy. Okay. So part of what could be happening here too is this person could be feeling that this new love is either here or you've already met this new love, and they could be wanting to apologize and kind of offer you a commitment to bring harmony into the situation. So, only you know how you're going to explore these feelings. I mean, for some of you, this could be a relationship where you've already explored these feelings. It would just be like, you're like, what? Like once, a guy I was seeing, he was visiting me, and at the time he was like, I was gonna come down here and propose to you. And he got like all in a huff, but I was like, what? And I was like, we're only 18 years old. Or 19. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, why now? Sometimes people think that they have to do that in order to keep something going. That relationship had a natural end anyway, which was fine. Um, and sometimes that's those red flags materializing. Whereas, like, where people are like, I don't need a ring just for me to feel comfortable, in life, or I don't have to have this label of blah blah blah, something like that. Anyway. That was a nice little wake up in case you fell asleep during football. The Lions are leading profusely over Washington right now, which I'm sure makes a lot of the Detroit fans happy, because I'm happy. If you feel like happiness is for you, yeah. Right? Know that one? Okay. So, I mean, if you're looking for harmony, okay, you might also be tapping into some air sign qualities. Gemini and Libra are both very known, I would say, as, social signs, chatty signs, which would complement this fire energy. So this person could have some of that. You could have some of that where fire and air, where you're allowing each other to breathe, okay, and exist at the same time, right? You're not, which this is crazy because I have like 2 candles lit right now tonight, which I hardly ever do. So it's like you and this person can coexist type thing, where it's like you're not competing for the energy, you're just holding your own space in the same space, right? If that makes sense. Okay. So I hope that this message resonates in the way that it's supposed to. I know there was a few different things going on there. So, obviously, not every single word of the message is going to resonate with you because that would be an impossibility. Because you're either on part of this path or that path, or you know what I mean. And just because one thing happens doesn't mean the next thing's gonna happen like in sequence, like right away. It could. It could. That doesn't mean it will, right? Okay, so for some people, they're like, oh, nothing's happening. I'm like, well, look about 6 months from now where you're going to be, because look at where you were 6 months ago. And do you want to go back to doing anything you were doing 6 months ago so desperately that, you're calling Cher and saying, hey, what about this time change, sir? I mean, that's kind of bogus, right? Uh, but hey, it already happened, right? Not everyone can be Indiana. Oh my gosh, you guys. Anyway, so, yeah. My hair's growing out, so it's doing its thing, But I did dry it a little bit, tonight because it got cool outside, and it even snowed this morning where I am at, so that was kind of wild. But it has been known to snow here on Halloween, which Halloween's already passed. So, the days of future past, go look it up. And I will check out that other thing that I said I was going to look up. I cannot think of it at the moment, but I will figure that out. Okay. So until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.